Hi everyone, good day. So again, this is the continuation of our topic about the introduction to human behavior and victimology. So welcome to this video. So today we're going to continue the lesson. So again, the theories of human development. So didiscuss naman natin ano-ano yung mga theories ng human development from psychology na pwede natin gamitin in analyzing human behavior. Okay? So again, this is Ma'am Saki de Mesa Portes. I'm a registered guidance counselor and a licensed professional teacher. And welcome to Human Behavior and Victimology. Okay, so the first theory of human development is the cognitive development theory of Jean Piaget. Okay? So, siya si Jean Piaget. So, dinevelop niya ang cognitive developmental theory. So, pag sinabi natin cognitive, it's about the development of the brain. Okay? So, based on the idea of children actively construct knowledge as they explore and manipulate the world around them. So, merong 4 stages ang Piaget theory ng cognitive development correspond with age of a child. So, they include the sensory motor, the pre-operational, concrete, operational, and the formal stage. Operational stages. Okay? So, let's dive into this journey. So, Piaget's stage of cognitive development start in sensory motor. Okay? So, from age 0 to 2, so mapapansin niya nangyayari, what happened during the sensory motor. So, pagkapanganak hanggang ikalawang taon, so yung coordination of senses with motor response, sensory curiosity about the world, language use for demand, and cataloging. So, object permanence is developed. So, na-identify ng mga bata yung mga bagay with their senses. Kaya usually yung mga nakikita nila, nahahawakan, yung natitaste nila. So, yun yung first level of their cognitive development. So, pag sinabi nating object permanence development, so kung nakikita nila, that is nag-exist. Pag hindi nila nakita, hindi ito nag-exist sa kanila. Okay? For example, may isa kang bagay, halimbawa ditong mouse na to. So, pinakita mo sa kanila, so ito ay nag-exist sa kanila. So, this is a permanent object. Pero pag tinakluban mo, mawawala na siya. O itinago mo, nawawala siya. So, yun yung development sa kanila. Okay? When it comes to sensory motor. Again, from the word itself, sensory, so the development is through senses. So, the next stage is the pre-operational. So, from 2 to 7 years old. So, this time naman, symbolic thinking used for proper syntax and grammar to express concept. Kasi dito pa lang sa stage na to, according to Piaget, nagsisimulang mag-communicate ang isang tao or isang bata. So, imagination and intuition are strong, but complex, abstract thoughts are still difficult. So, conservation is developed. So, nagkakaroon pa lang ng development during the conservation. Okay? So, symbolic yung mga thinking nila. So, binibigyan nila ng symbolism. Halimbawa, ang heart ay pagmamahal sa kanila. Ang bahay is family sa kanila. And then, again, dito pa lang sila nagkakaroon ng stages na to, nagkakaroon silang development para magsalita. And then the third one is the concrete operational. So, nag-start siya sa 7 to 11 years old. So, ano nangyayari during this phase? So, sabi ni Piaget, yung concept attached to concrete situation, time, space, so na-identify na niya yung time, space, and quality are understood and can be applied but not as independent concept. Okay? So, again, balik tayo sa pre-operational. So, sabi natin, di ba, conservation is developed during this stage. So, yung best example daw nito is, for example, binigyan mo yung 2. Okay? Yung 2 to 7 years old na student or na bata ng tubig. Okay? Isang maliit na malapad na baso, tapos yung isa naman is manipis na mataas na baso, tapos pag nilagyan mo siya ng tubig parehas, tapos ay same amount or same volume of water, tapos pinapili mo daw ang bata during during the pre-operational or 2 to 7 years old kung ano yung mas doon mas madaming tubig. Ang pipili niya yung mas mataas, na to think parehas lang naman siya ng volume kasi yun yung nakikita niya. Okay, symbolic thinking. So dito naman sa concrete, ang concept niya is from the word itself, concept attached to concrete situation. So oras, na-identify na niya, yung space, quality, and understood can be applied but not independent concept. So dito naman, best example, from 7 to 11, na-identify na niya kahit gaano pa lapad or kahaba yung container ng tubig, basta same volume of water, equal pa rin siya. So yun yung concrete development. And then the last stage daw is the formal operational. So dito naman, ang development naman ng brain or ng cognition natin from 11 and beyond. So dito na daw nagkakaroon ng formal development of learning. Okay? So, more on, na-identify na natin yung theoretical, hypothetical, and counterfactual thinking. Abstract logic and reasonings, strategy and planning became possible, concept learned in one context and can be applied to one another. So, nagkakaroon na tayo ng reasoning, justification, bakit ito yung nangyari, or nakakapag-isip na tayo what really are involved in one specific situation, o kaya naman in learning. So mas na-identify or na-explain na natin, naunawaan natin mas mabuti according to Piaget. Okay, to sum it up, the Piaget stages of cognitive development. So the first stage again is the sensory stage, 0 to 2 years old. So a child may identify an object, learning the object by senses. So hinahawakan niya para ma-identify niya. And then from 2 to 7 is the pre-operational stage. So dito nagkakaroon na siya ng identification about the volume, okay, ng water. Okay? So, nagkakaroon siya ng conservation. Then, for the concrete operational stage naman, so na-identify na niya kung, for example, yung example natin kanina is yung water. Okay? So, water, yung volume ng water, pag nilagay mo sa ang taas na baso, malapad na baso, when it comes to volume, same lang siya. Hindi nagbabago yung kanyang volume. Okay? So, yung container, nag-iba lang yung shape, pero the volume same pa din. For the formal operational stage from 12 and above, so, nandito na tayo sa formal operational stage. So, na-identify na natin, meron tayong logical and reasoning, okay? So, pwede nating i-describe. So, yung isang basong tubig daw is half empty, half full, kalahati lang siya, ganyan. So, na-describe natin siya or na-identify natin. So, that is the simplest understanding of Piaget stages of cognitive development. When it comes to criminal situation naman, so, you can identify na itong mga batang ito, kung sila ay magiging, or kung ang mga victim ng case nyo in the future is nasa ganitong stage, so dapat ay alam nyo kung anong level of cognitive development na sila. Okay? So, pag matuturo na ba nila yung suspect, for example, kung sila ay nasa pre-operational stage, pag nakamas ba, na ma-identify ba nila. So, kailangan alam natin as a criminology student and a future law enforcer na yung development of stages is kailangan natin malaman or matutunan para hindi tayo magkakamali when it comes to observing our victim and of course the perpetuator in the near future. Kaya 'di ba yung mga nakukulong or mga juvenile, yung mga juvenile natin na nakagawa ng mga kasalanan under the law is pag minor de edad ba, ibig sabihin hindi pa fully develop ang kanilang cognition. So, hindi pa nila alam yung tama at mali. And under the guidance pa rin sila ng kanilang parents. Okay? So that can further discuss or your investigation. So, pwede ka pa mag-investigate. So, pag alam mo yung basic cognition development. So, this is your theory na magbaback up dun sa investigation mo or dun sa observation mo. The Jean Piaget's cognitive development. Again, meron tayong 4. The sensory, pre-operational, complete, and formal. Okay? So, yun lang. So, the next theory naman is the attachment theory. So, this theory was developed by John Bowlby and Mary Ainsworth and describe the dynamic of long-term relationship between humans. So, attachment in infants, sa mga bata, is primarily a process of proximity seeking to an identified attachment figure. Okay? So, pagbata daw, so ang attachment, pagbata, is na-identify niya kung sino yung lagi niyang kasama. So, doon siya nagkakaroon ng attachment. So, in situational or perceived distress, pag nadidistress sila, so saan sila pumupunta, or alarm for the purpose of survival. Kasi nga yung mga bata, hindi pa nila kaya mag-survive on their own, kaya kung sino yung pinakamalapit sa kanila or attached sila, dun sila pumupunta. Okay? So, next is, so ito yung kanyang 4 phase of attachment development. So, the pre-attachment, the attachment in making, the clear-cut attachment, and the reciprocal relationship. So, this is John Baldwin 4 phase attachment development. So, for the pre-attachment, approximately pagkapanganak hanggang 6 weeks, so yung infant or yung baby is attracted sa kanyang caregiver. So whether nanay niya yon or tatay, o basta kung sino yung nag-aalaga sa kanya. Halimbawa, pagkapanganak pa lang niya, pagkasilang sa kanya, binigay siya, halimbawa, pina-adapt siya, for example lang. So, yun yung magiging caregiver niya, or dun siya ma-attach. O kung sa nanay naman, in a normal phase, so dun siya nagkakaroon ng attachment. Kaya, ang mga bata, lalo na yung mga baby, is saan siya attach or malapit, di ba? Kung sino yung nag-aalaga sa kanila or sa nanay. Okay? So, again, 0 to 6. So, na-attach sila again sa kanilang caregiver, with eye contact, lagi nilang tinitingnan, and signal like gasping, crying, smiling, and gazing. Tinititigan nila. So, positive response from infant, keep the caregiver close. So, this closeness comfort the infant. Okay, so magiging comfortable, hindi stress yung bata pag malapit siya doon sa kanyang caregiver nag-aalaga sa kanya. So, yung infant, yung mga bata down, recognize caregivers, scent, voice, and faces. Okay? So, mas na-identify ng mga bata yung amoy, number 1, and then yung boses ng nanay niya or nag-aalaga sa kanya at yung mukha nito. So, infant are not yet attached to the caregiver, so don't mind being alone with unfamiliar adults, and don't fear strangers. So, sila yung usually na kikidnap mo, okay? So, sa criminology. Kasi, hindi sila masyado pang ganun, sobrang attached. Kasi nga, for survival lang yung kanilang, paggutom, ganyan, nagtae, or nagpupo sa diaper, umihi sa diaper. So, dun sila nagre-release sa caregiver nila. However, madali din silang sumama or kunin ng mga unfamiliar people around them or dun sa stranger. Kaya usually, pag sila yung mga nakidnap ng bata pa, so dun nagsisimula yung hindi nila alam kung sino yung sino yung magulang nila, kasi 0 to 6 years old pa. So, sila yung mga prone. So, the next daw ng attachment in making. So, the next phase. So, approximately 6 weeks to 8 months. Okay? So, baby pa rin to or infant pa din. So, babies smile more and calm more quickly when picked up with familiar caregivers than stranger. So, sila na yung medyo kalmado, tumatawa pag familiar stages, yung familiar yung faces ng kanilang caregiver kasi nakakasama sila sa bahay. So, infants learn their action affect the behavior of those around them. So, na-identify na nila na yung action nila, yung ginagawa nila, may effect yun dun sa, yung behavior nila doon sa adult na or sa caregiver nila. Ay, pag umiyak siya, anong gagawin ng caregiver? Pag meron or ng kanilang nanay or tatay. So, usually, ang general instinct pag umiyak ka, to get the attention of the mother or the caregiver. Okay? So, infants begin with the development of sense nila, the trust, so experiencing the predictable response from the caregiver. So, dito na de-develop sa stage nito yung tiwala nila dun sa kanilang caregiver kasi na-predict na nila yung responses nila. Okay? O nung kanilang caregivers. So, infants still do not mind being separated from their caregiver. So, wala din silang sense of strong attachment sa caregivers nila. So, kahit hindi sila yung laging kasama, ganyan. So, hindi mo rin sila parang hindi pa nila na-identify na ito pala yung nanay ko, ganyan. Pero familiarity meron na. So, the third stage is the clear-cut attachment. So, for the clear-cut attachment naman daw, so this start with 8 months to 18 months. Okay? So, mahigit 1 year old na. Isang taong mahigit na. So, attachment is evident na. So, usually, yung mga babies become upset and experience separation anxiety when separated from the from a reliable or relied caregiver. Okay, so nag-iiyak na sila pag iniiwan sila ng nanay nila or nag-aalaga sa kanila. So, medyo strong na yung attachment dito. At pag nahiwalay nga sila, nagkakaroon sila ng anxiety, separation anxiety. Okay, so diba yung nanay mo, punta lang sa palengke, 1 year old, 18 months, mga 1 year old, more or less mga 1 year old ka. So, kung may kapatid kayo or anak or pamangkin, i-observe nyo lang siya. So, yung clear-cut attachment ang tawag doon. So, umiiyak pag iniiwan. Papasok sa work, umiiyak. Kasi meron nagkakaroon sila ng separation anxiety. So, the occurrence of the separation anxiety depends on the infant's temperament. Sa kanilang temperament, kung maiinitin, magagalitin. Okay, so yung kanilang mood, so adult behavior and specific situation. Usually daw the baby show distress when the primarily caregiver yung pangunahin nilang nag-aalaga sa kanila, usually mga mother, iniiwan sila. Okay? But anxiety can be short-lived, migsi lang. So, if replaced by the caregiver is empathic and supportive. Okay? So, pag iniwan ng nanay, dahil magtatrabaho, so mas stress lang sila or mas magkakaroon sila ng distress short period of time lang, and then iniwan sila dun sa another caregiver, may sa lolo, sa lola, sa tatay, or sa halimbawa yaya na empathic din, mapag-aruga, supportive. So nagkakaroon sila ng another trust dun sa tao na yon. Okay, so the last stage daw, the last phase, the fourth phase of John Bowlby is the reciprocal relationship. Okay, pag sinabi natin reciprocal, so nababalik siya, nire-reciprocate natin siya. So, it starts from 18 months and on. So, the separation anxiety decreases as So, the separation anxiety decreases as language and cognitive skills grow. Kasi nagkakaroon na tayo ng communication, understanding na de-develop na. So, nagkakaroon na ng minimal separation anxiety. Okay, napagsasabihan tayo, si mami ay mag-work lang, babalik din si mami, so on and so forth. So, gano'n. So, na-identify na, naunawaan na ng bata. So, nagkakaroon na siya ng minimal separation anxiety. Okay, so yung mga toddler naman, during this stage can understand some of the circumstances influencing the caregivers coming and going, and can be predicted their return. Okay, so gabi na, wala pa si mami, sabi ni mami, wish siya movie si mami, pag 5 na, uwi na si mami, ganyan. So na-identify na nila anong oras aalis si mami niya, or anong oras babalik si mami niya or si daddy niya. So napipredict na niya. So Kaya minimal yung separation nila. Separation anxiety nila. And then, as they get older, yung mga toddler grow less dependent on their caregivers and more confident than they will be accessible to the response and timing need. Okay? So, sa mga stages na to, ma-identify natin kung ang isang adult ba is merong anxiety pag iniiwan. Okay? So, siguro during their childhood, naiwan to ng nanay niya. Okay? So, kaya naman, ang usually nagkakaroon ng behavioral conflict or misdemeanor during high school or pwede din na adulthood is yung mga iniwan ng magulang or separated yung parents. Okay? Kaya, importante kung kayo is magfa-family, na buo ang pamilya nyo kasi maapektuhan in the long run is mga bata. Akala natin, bata pa lang sila, hindi nila yun ma-identify or walang epekto sa kanila. Pero yung sinasabi ni John Baldwin, kung meron tong effect dun sa bata when it comes to attachment. Okay? So, in continuation, Ainsworth discussed the 3 attachment style. So, ano na daw yun? From the strangest situation, Ainsworth developed a strange situation classification of the SSC. So, which is cornerstone on how we categorize attachment style today. So, the first one is the secure, the resistance, and the avoidant. Okay? So, the first is the secure. So, child display distress or negative stress when separated from the mother but easily soothe and return their positive attitude quickly when reunited them. So, ito yung diniscuss natin kanina. So, nagkakaroon sila ng feeling of security kahit na separate sila sa magulang nila, pero bumalik din agad, nag-reunited. So, nagkakaroon sila ng positive attitude. Since secure, babalikan sila. Resistant. So, the child display ayaw nilang resist. Okay, resistant. A child display intense distress or negative stress when a mother leave but resist contact with them when reunited. Okay? So, ito naman yung nagkakaroon-develop sa bata. Umalis si nanay, tapos pagbalik ni nanay, hindi naman siya agad kinarga. Okay? O hindi siya agad pinansin. So, nagkakaroon ng resistant development doon sa isang bata. Next is the avoidant. Avoidant naman is the child display no distress when separated from the mother as well as no interest in mother's return. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, yung bata daw is walang kahit anong sign. Umalis si nanay, bumalik si nanay, okay lang sa kanya. So, that is avoidant. Okay? So, adding disorganized attachment, Ainsworth had several PhD students working with her, one of whom became the notorious for their significant contribution to attachment theory, namely Mary Mean. Okay, so sabi ni Mary Mean, obserbahan niya na unique behavior of one infant in moment when the infant was frightened by the thunder. Kulog thunder. And they surprisingly ran toward the experimenter instead of their own mother. Okay? So, based on this interaction, so, kumidlat, tapos ay gulit yung bata. So, sa experiment nila, imbis na tumakbo sa nanay kasi attachment, diba? Yung familiar. Nagulat si Mary Main kasi dun sa experimenter sila tumakbo imbis dun sa nanay. So, base daw dito, this interaction, Main decided to focus her research on identifying a peculiar or strange behavior such as this, leading to the identification of fourth element in the classification of attachment. So, the disorganized attachment style, so which incorporated both resistance and diminishing behavior. So, this is the theory. So, high avoidance, low avoidance, low anxiety, and high anxiety. So, in attachment theory, so pag daw high ang avoidance sa yung caregiver, at low yung anxiety mo, so dismissive or avoidant yung magiging personality mo or yung attachment mo dun sa yung caregiver. Pag naman daw low avoidance, low anxiety, secure, nagkakaroon ka ng sense of security. Okay? So, hindi mo na-avoid yung iyong caregiver, hindi ka din stress or hindi ka distress, so you're secured. Pero kung ikaw ay low avoidance, so malapit ka, low avoidance nga, no? Malapit ka sa caregiver mo, pero ang taas ng anxiety mo, anxious ka naman or preoccupied. Okay, yung mga bata. High avoidance, okay, iniiwasan niya or wala siyang pakialam sa caregiver niya. High anxiety, so disorganized yung bata or yung child na meron when it comes to their attachment. So, kailangan familiar kayo since you are going to become a law enforcer kung kayo is mag-handle ng DSW cases o yung mga batang victim or mga batang abused, 'di ba, ng parents or ng kanilang relatives. So, observe nyo yung mga bata kung sila ba ay high avoidance, meron ba silang low anxiety, low avoidance, or high anxiety. Ito yung kanilang nagiging behavior. Okay? So, yun. So, next is... Okay, so the next theory is the psychosexual theory of development by Sigmund Freud. Okay, so this theory of psychosexual development is based on the idea of parents play a crucial role in managing their children's sexual and aggressive drive during the first few years of life to foster their proper development. So, sabi ni Freud, yung structural model daw consists of the personality consists of three interworking parts. So, the id, the ego, and the superego. So, let's define. So, according to Sigmund Freud, structural model of psyche posits the three interacting systems. So, the id, the ego, and the superego. Okay? So, the dynamic interplay and conflicts among these entities shape an individual thoughts, pag-iisip niya. Sabi ni Freud, ito daw, id, ego, and superego, nade-develop siya or nagkakaroon ng conflict and then nasi-shape daw ang isang tao according sa kanyang thoughts, sa kanyang feelings, and behavior. So, kailangan mabalance to, no? So, balance is required among the components for optimal functioning. Okay? So, ano yung example? So, the id, so let's discuss. So, the id daw contain the innate biological instinct and desire. Okay? So, the second is the superego. So, the id is usually the pleasure principle, biological instinct ng isang tao. And then the superego internalizes the societal rules and morals. Usually, mga conscience, ano yung sinasabi na dapat gawin ng isang tao according sa society niya. And then the last one is the ego or the I. So, this or the reality. So, meditate between the demands of the id and the superego and the reality. Okay? So, siya yung deciding body. Ano ba yung dapat niyang gawin na pag ito bang sinunod ko is yung id, hindi ba maapektuhan ang society or mababalance ba? So kailangan is siya, importante merong balance between the id, the pleasure principle, and of course, the superego, our conscience or the morality. Kailangan mabalance siya ni ego. So, let's dive in the id. Okay? So, according to Freud, ang id daw, so the id is one of the three parts of the mind. So, according to Sigmund Freud, largely debunk psychoanalytic theory. So, what is the overview? So, ang id natin or the id operates on the pleasure. Okay? Pleasure principle. Tatandaan ha, ang id is more on the pleasure principle ng isang individual, which is the psychoanalytic concept that refers to instinctive drives to seek pleasure and avoid pain. So, it's strive for immediate gratification, mabigay agad yung pleasure, instant gratification of the desire wants, and needs. So, if these needs are not satisfied, pag hindi na satisfied ang id, immediate result is a state of anxiety and tension. Ano yung mga example ng id? Seeking sexual satisfaction, seeking immediate gratification, the impulse for aggression, experience of hunger, greed and jealousy, self-preservation, emotional outburst. So, itong mga example na ito ang nag-ooperate daw during this experience ay ang ating id or the pleasure principle. So, the next is superego. So, according to Freud, superego is the part of the mind that attempt to impose morality. So, kung si id is the pleasure principle, si superego is the morality. So, it adheres social norms. Ano yung dapat binibehave ng isang tao, iniisip ng isang tao, nararamdaman ng isang tao according sa social norms. And desire for perfection. So, the overview for superego is, in Freud's theory of personality, the mind has three components. So, the id, ego, and superego. So, the superego, being the most civilized of the three parts of the mind, filter the world through moral lenses. Okay? So, we develop superego when we internalize social norms. Ano yung dapat natin ginagawa according sa ating society. Okay? So, we are bound by social law. Okay? So, and morality from our parents, ano yung ininculcate ng ating magulang na values sa atin at yung alam natin na tama within society. So, ano yung mga example na superego yung nag-ooperate sa atin? So, having a high personal standard, adheres to law and rules. So, kung sumusunod ka sa batas, so no cheating, di ka nag-cheat. So, you're operating your superego. So, feeling of guilt that make us strive to do better. So, resistance for peer pressure, adherence for cultural traditions and norm, and a strong work ethic. So, the last one is the ego or the Freud's reality principle. So, by definition, reality principle by Sigmund Freud is the psychological concept that governs, siya yung nag-govern or decide, okay? Deciding ba kung ano yung susundin mo, si id ba or sa superego. So, it refers to the idea that individual must balance their innate desire and immediate gratification with the demands and norms of external world. So, it guides the ego to make decision based on practicality and delay gratification. So, versus principle pleasure. So, in reality daw, reality principle and pleasure principle are two opposing forces that shape as human behavior. So, yung human behavior, sinishape ng reality and pleasure principle. So, tawag daw, naglalaban sila. Pag ginawa mo to, immediate gratification, ano ba yung realidad? Siyempre, may consequences. Okay? So, while the pleasure principle seek immediate gratification of desire without considering consequences, kasi nga ay immediate yung ating gustong mangyari, yung pleasure. So, the reality principle guide individual make decision on practicality long-term based on social acceptability. Okay? So, again, in summary, according to Freud, meron tayong tatlong theory. Okay? So, tatlong rather doon, structural personality development. So, the id is the pleasure principle. Superego is the morality or your conscience. And then, the ego is your reality or the deciding body kung sino ba yung susundin mo. Okay? Importanteng mabalance ito kasi hindi naman pwede na puro pleasure lang. So, paano yung social law? 'Di ba? Yung social norming, walang consequences na iniisip. Hindi din naman pwedeng super ego lang na lahat na lang ng iniisip mo is para sa ibang tao. O kaya naman, ito yung ang sabi ng ng lipunan na gawin natin. So, nade-deprive mo naman yung sarili mong kagustuhan. So, we need to balance. Hindi naman ibig sabihin na si id yung pinili mo, masama ka ng tao. Or si super ego yung ginawa mo, masama ka ng tao. So, you need to balance that. Okay? So, I will end this discussion and later on, we will continue our discussion about, again, Sigmund Freud pa rin, theories of development. Okay? So, that's it. Thank you.